I did it that time. I started the video without looking in the corner. Okay, let me hurry up because this is probably going to take all 15 minutes to do. I was going to tell you about something that just happened to me when I went and got these Red Bulls, but I'm not going to do that because I don't have that much time. Let's go. So America and Bible prophecy. So on this page, you will not only find out that America is in Bible prophecy, but also that America will be the main nation to bring on the mark of the beast and cause the world to take it. In Revelation 13, we have two beasts, one that rises up out of the sea and one that rises up out of the earth. And it is the earth beast which causes the world to take the mark of the beast. So for this earth beast to be able to cause the world to take the mark of the sea beast, it needs to be a global superpower. America is not only the first as well as the only truly global superpower, but it is also likely to be the very last. And this was stated by the Grand Chessboard by Zbigniew Brzezinski, some Russian name, who's a former United States National Security Advisor. So even though there have been world empires before like Babylon and Rome, Mr. Brzezinski is talking about the fact that America is exercising power truly all over the world, which is what the earth beast does in Revelation 13. There is only one nation on earth that appears on the world stage lamb-like or Christian, but ends up speaking as a dragon and has the power and influence to cause the rest of the world to take the mark of the sea beast, and that nation is America. Let us quickly confirm what a beast represents in Bible prophecy. A beast represents a kingdom, as Daniel confirms. Daniel 7:17 states, "These great beasts which are four kings which shall rise out of the earth." Daniel isn't talking specifically about kings as a single person. He is talking about nations, because the four beasts he was referring to were Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. Daniel 7:23 reads, "Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth." So these two beasts in Revelation 13 also represent kingdoms. Now does America fulfill the description of one of these beasts? We shall find out. The first beast John sees rises out of the sea. Revelation 13, 1-2 reads, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea." Now in Revelation 17:15, it says that water represents peoples, nations, and tongues. So this kingdom rises out of a greatly populated area with many different nations and languages, like Europe. So this first beast couldn't be America, because America didn't rise up in that way. So who is the first beast out of the sea? This beast is the same kingdom as the little horn of Daniel 7. And if you study the little horn of Daniel 7 and Revelation sea beast, you will see the truth that they are both a church-state union, which we know as the papacy or the Roman Catholic Church. And we'll get into the Daniel 7 prophecy later, because that's pretty much what I talked about in the last video, but I didn't do a good job by any means. I might even delete that. So the beast out of the earth. Now let's quickly look at the last description of the first beast out of the sea. Revelation 13:10 reads, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Because this sea beast, or the Papal Church of Rome, was a persecuting power that kills God's people, it too will receive a deadly wound, as the verse above says. "He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." And this was fulfilled in 1798 when General Berthier of France marched his army into Rome, took the Pope captive, and locked him in prison, where he died. History shows that after this, the papacy was thought to be dead and buried. And here's a quote: "Half of Europe thought that with the Pope, the papacy was dead," stated by Joseph Rickaby in the Modern Papacy in Lectures on the History of Religion. Blah blah blah. So after this event, John sees another beast rising up out of the earth. Revelation 13:11 reads, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." So this kingdom would rise up around the time that the papacy received its deadly wound, around 1798. And it's important to note, all other beasts or kingdoms rose up from the sea. Daniel 7:3, meaning they rose to power from well-populated areas amongst many different nations. Daniel 7:2 also confirms that the other world powers rose through strife and conflict. Now compare this with the earth beast of Revelation 13. The second beast, or earth beast, of Revelation 13 is a kingdom that rises out of the earth, which is an obvious opposite to the sea and denotes that it rose up peacefully in a place of wilderness and not through war and strife. That's sort of debatable. I mean, I wouldn't say that it rose up peacefully, but I would say that it rose up in a scarcely populated part of the earth. I mean, we all know about how the Europeans drove out the Native Americans and killed all these Native Americans and shit, and we know about the revolution, so we can't say that they necessarily rose up peacefully, but they did rise up in a scarcely populated area on the earth in comparison with, the old world. So there is only one end-time power that fits this description, and it is the United States of America. The mystery of her coming, and this is a quote, the mystery of her coming forth from vacancy, like a silent seed, we grew into an empire. And that's George G.A. Townsend, The New World Compared with the Old. I mean, I guess it came up peacefully in comparison to the way kingdoms would arise in the old world, but you can't exactly call it completely peaceful. Anyway, America wasn't populated until the 1700s, when people fleeing the persecuting power of the Roman Catholic Church headed for this new land so they could practice religious freedom away from the papacy. And America became a recognized world power by 1798, when the papacy had received its deadly wound. So the timing also fits with America. Revelation 13:11 reads, "And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." This nation rises with lamb-like features. Jesus Christ, as we know, is a lamb. So this new kingdom would appear to be Christ-like and be based upon Christian principles. Now, if you take a look at Revelation 12, you will find a woman, a symbol of God's true church, being persecuted by the dragon, a symbol of Satan and the nation of Rome. This persecution comes from the Roman Catholic Church during the 1260 years that it reigned between 538 and 1798 AD. It says in verse 16 that the earth helped the woman escape from the persecution and false teachings of the papal church. This is another reference to the new nation of America, where Christians fled to find religious freedom away from the Roman Catholic Church. Let me check the time. Alright, I'm doing alright. Please understand this important point. There is only one nation on the earth that appears lamb-like, or Christian, but speaks as a dragon, and has the power and influence to cause the rest of the world to take the mark of the sea beast, and that is America. No other kingdom fits. We are the largest, most powerful country on earth. America is going to be the indispensable nation for the remainder of this century. We occasionally have to twist the arms of country that wouldn't do what we need them to do. We don't have a peer in terms of the estate that is going to attack us and invade us. The closest we have, obviously, is Russia with its nuclear arsenal, but generally speaking, they can't project the way we can around the world. China can't either. We spend more on our military than the next 10 countries combined. And that's a quote by President Obama. So, America has command centers with specific commanders overseeing ready forces covering all regions of the globe. U.S. Northern Command, United States Southern Command, United States Africa Command, United States European Command, United States Central Command, U.S. Pacific Command. So that's just a little bit about the United States military. So what about the two horns? Written into the laws of the land, America declared that church and state should never unite, and that every man would be permitted to worship God according to the dictates of his conscience. This fits the two lamb-like horns. Now, horns in prophecy normally represent kings/kingdoms. Could this be the case here? Well, did America set up two kingdoms or two ruling authorities from the start? Yes. Two political parties were started, known as the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans. which then became the Democrats, liberals, and the Republicans, conservatives. And everything done in America is governed by these two parties. The two horns could also represent the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which stand for civil liberty and religious liberty. This nation of America was based upon republicanism, or a government without a king, and Protestantism, a church without a pope. So either way, this country has been led by two authorities, which match the two horns of the beast. And also, here's something else that they left out. Somewhere in the Bible talks about the Christ-like powers, which is freedom and liberty. And that the horns of the Lamb represent the Christ powers of freedom and liberty. So the horns of this lamb that rose up out of the earth, or the beast that rose out of the earth that was likened to a lamb, it could be that the two horns would represent liberty, freedom, and liberty, and we'll just throw in justice for all. So that is another allusion to America. So the earth beast begins to speak like a dragon. Unfortunately, this nation, which starts off as a Christian nation, ends up speaking like a dragon. Revelation 13:11-12 reads, "And he spake as a dragon, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." We occasionally have to twist the arms of countries that wouldn't do what we need them to do. That's again the quote from President Obama. As we learned earlier, the dragon represents Satan. Why did I do that? Oh my gosh. It's dangerous. That was a frozen ass Red Bull, and I was thinking maybe it'd be Red Bull slushy, and all it's doing is squeezing out all the sugar. It's gonna be disgusting by the time it melts now. I don't know why it came out of the vending machine frozen. Anyway, let's check the time. Alright, I'm gonna have to wrap this up in a couple minutes. We can clearly see today that the American government, currently led by President Obama, has started doing away with the rights and freedoms of the people in preparation for the mark of the beast, which is soon to come. Now, which nation is at the forefront of attacking and taking control of certain countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, and others who refuse to go along with their political policies? America. Alright, that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. There's going to be a part 2 because there's much more to this. And, but the next video won't be nearly as long. Alright, so let me see you in a few.